Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and disgruntled former Trump employee, General John Kelly, he's been on the warpath against Trump, calling him horrible things and saying horrible things about him that nobody else can corroborate except him. Well, now those chickens have come home to roost. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, please check that address in the lower right-hand corner. It's youtube.com/@explainamerica. And when you get there, please hit subscribe. Absolutely free. It really helps us out. John Kelly suddenly remembered, after all these years, that he heard former President Donald Trump say that he wanted generals the type of which the German chancellor in the 1940s, you know who I'm talking about, had. And that he said all these horrible, disgusting things about the military and just horrible, horrible things. And I said, well, what does that say about General Kelly? He heard all these things and kept his job, didn't walk out right then and there and say, I can't be a part of this? Why not? I would have. A lot of people would have. Well, the media hasn't bothered to ask that question. But somebody today did. Somebody today finally called John Kelly on what I think is dubious claims at best. If he's not a liar, these are dubious claims at best. That person, Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio. And he absolutely stunned the interviewer here, but because the interviewer was like, are you calling him a liar? And Marco Rubio was like, yes. And I found that to be stunning. I want you to take a look at this and let me know what you think in the comments.
When they come out and say these things. And my last point that I want to make about this is how interesting that these claims that were made this week pop up with a week and a half to go before the election. If you, in fact, believed, as some of these people claim, that Donald Trump is all these horrible things, Nazi, fascist, all these crazy terms they throw around, why didn't you stand up and walk out of that White House or that administration the moment you heard those terms? Why didn't you say that at the time and not wait till after the fact? Those are questions they're never going to get asked, because this is entirely a political hit job where these people are trying to elevate themselves to become more employable and be able to make more money. And it's also timed perfectly so that they can ask her about it on CNN and she can make the answer that she made. So she's not focused on her record or her plans, because they're just like Joe Biden's and they're full of failure.
Do you think people like General Milley, like John Kelly, are lying?
Yes. I do. And not more, but even if they aren't lying, or even let's say you don't want to call them a liar, I would say it's very dubious to see these accusations coming at the very last minute, right before an election. These are the kinds of things, you know, somebody says that in front of me, I say it right away. I walk out, I resign, I leave. They didn't do any of those things. And I think it's hypocritical to see a bunch of Democrats who spent months, weeks, trashing these people, particularly in the case of John Kelly, trashing him, saying that he was corrupt, that they accused him of potentially being a Nazi at one point, I remember. They attacked him over some Civil War comments that he made. They were horrible to him. So all of a sudden now, these people, this guy who they hated and said horrible things about, now he is the standard of proof here. Here he is the absolute final word on these topics. I just think anything like this that's coming out at the last minute, being strategically planted, is nothing but an effort to have an impact on this election, because what Kamala Harris is not going to talk about is the fact that for 4 years she's been the vice president of potentially, if not the single worst administration for this country and for Americans in my lifetime.